I just robbed a bank, and then after you leave the bank, you walk back in and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Here's your money back. Like, you're still in huge trouble, right?
Yeah. So
Well, almost noon, and we're still drinking coffee. Just the way I like it.
I know. I'm always tired.
This has
Plus,
been like...
You woke up early, so you always get more coffee than me.
Yeah, I gotta stop, man. Not stop drinking coffee, just stop drinking as much coffee. It's just, I don't know.
But it tastes so good.
God, it tastes so good. It's
and we do black coffee.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I did wake up early this morning. I actually went, it was like probably 6:50, and I threw on my weighted vest and just started walking around the neighborhood. It was so nice this morning. It was like 68, 69 degrees, little breeze blowing. I was like, I'm going for a walk.
Was it dark?
Not really. I mean, the sun wasn't like shining or anything, but it wasn't dark.
I love mornings. I just lay in bed and stretch out. I'm like, close the door.
Yeah, that's not called mornings. That's called still laying in bed.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's called just waking up. That's not really mornings. No, it just feels to get up and do something. Not that that's really doing much, but I don't know. It was just nice. Like I listen to podcasts and just walk around.
Well, it's good for you.
Yeah, better than sitting in traffic.
Of course.
You know, sitting on some road or a stoplight or on a bridge, all stuck on a bridge.
Hating your job.
Oh, goodness gracious. Holy cow. What were we going to talk about today?
I have no plan today.
Really? I thought you did have something. I thought that's why we raced to get in here and do this.
Nope.
No plan?
No plan. Cal is now biting other people.
Oh, I actually think that's actually what we were talking about.
Yeah, he's biting people.
He's on the
for no reason.
Yeah, he's on the offensive now. Like it used to be, I don't know, maybe if like you corrected something, said no, took something away, limited something, and then you got bit. Now it's just he's just biting on the offensive, like just going after you and doing it.
You don't know what's going to happen. He bit Austin 3 times over the weekend, Charlie twice, you once. He bit his new therapist. He was scratching the hell out of my face and arm yesterday when I was taking him from the park.
I think his new therapist, that may have been the first time she's been bit.
Yeah, so this is the second time he's bitten her.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is because of change or what, but it's not because he's mad. Well, the scratching me at the park was because he's mad, but not because he was mad, not because of anything.
He bit me in the pool, and I said, ow, and he goes, oh, so sorry, give you kiss. And then he gave me a kiss where he bit me.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know if it's like, hey, I'm going to do something bad so I can show you that I know how to make it good, which still isn't good. Because that's like saying, hey, I just robbed a bank, and then after you leave the bank, you walk back in and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Here's your money back. Like you're still in huge trouble, right?
Yeah. So I told his OT about it when he went to the clinic yesterday. And of course, I'm trying to add in just more and more therapy as much as I can. But they're just saying it's more ABA now. Like I have to add in more ABA therapy. So which he's already at 15 hours.
I was going to say, so we'd go to 20 or 25 or something?
Yeah, that's my goal. Especially for summer.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but like it's so necessary right now.
It is crazy.
It's necessary.
Yeah. But I mean, things can be necessary and crazy at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the irony of this whole thing.
I took him to
you almost need to be nuts to deal with all of this, you know?
It is
you need to be nuts.
It is nuts.
Yeah.
I took him to the park yesterday after Trey's game, which Trey won. Congratulations.
Hey. Undefeated, by the way, Trey. And Austin in the Seniors League.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So he sat in his wagon for a long time. Took him to the park. Of course, he sees a grandma, goes up to her, hi, grandma. And people think it's strange. Then he goes up to a man who's in his 40s, and he says, hi, grandpa.
You don't like this guy.
Well, he said hi, grandpa, and I was like, he's not a grandpa. And then he was like, hi, cowboy, because he had a cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm sorry. He's autistic. He likes to label people. And the guy didn't say a word.
Like ignored you?
Like, just kind of was like, huh. And I'm just like.
That's a shame.
I don't know. I felt like I had to say it.
Sure.
And then I was like, well, this is uncomfortable. And Cal's not going to leave him alone because he has a baby and he loves babies.
Maybe he was nervous about how to act or what. I don't know. At least just say, oh, it's all good. Or if it's not, then just say, well, leave.
Yeah.
I don't know. Say something. The awkward silence is always the worst, isn't it? It's like, maybe.
Yeah, it's weird. And then this woman was sitting on a bench watching me.
Maybe he can't.
And then she saw his
maybe
diaper.
He couldn't hear you.
Oh, he could hear me.
Oh. Okay. I'm trying to come up with as many excuses for this dude as possible.
No, it was one of those moments that there was a lot happening, and I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I felt a little emotional, and then I had to carry him away, and then he's like ripping my face apart, and people are seeing me carry this kid that's more than half my size.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to keep doing that.
No. I mean, don't look at me for answers. I don't know either. I got no idea what's going on. I mean, I was just like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think the longer, it's funny, the longer we do this, and even you saying, if this offends somebody, whatever, I've realized, like, and we've mentioned this before, this has become such a podcast, just a channel or a series or just whatever, individual pieces of content for parents who just are like, just really good at going with it, and you do your best to get ahead of it, but then you realize, hey, it's not going that way, so now we have to readjust. We've almost just gotten really cool with just readjusting, understanding when the plan gets all effed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, our whole, like, the catalyst to this whole thing for us is autism, but then I've also realized, like, some parents, it's just life. Like, you got other things going on, and maybe the whole thing, it's just relatable that when things go sideways, you just get really good at being a sideways adjuster. Yeah, I don't know.
And just on this journey, I mean, you do have moments where you're sad. You do have moments where you're embarrassed or emotional, and it's hard.
Yeah, I felt like yesterday we got home, and I felt like the dude in the cowboy hat, it had bummed you out a little.
It did bum me out. Like,
yeah, I could tell.
I felt a little upset.
Yeah, I could tell.
Plus, I'm like trying to really figure out his schooling for next year because I have to. And I'm like, there's no perfect place for him right now.
I know.
And that makes it very hard.
I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself with that.
No, but then at the park, feeling like that, I'm like,
but that's what
he does stand out.
I know.
And it's upsetting sometimes.
Well, I know, but better to stand out than fit in, right?
I'm fine with it. I mean, it just gets you sometimes.
Yeah, but just be honest, that saying's kind of a load because it's like you say that and then you get a kid that truly stands out and you're like, nope, I'm good with fitting in. I'm like,
well, because sometimes it's like, I do want him to play football. You know what I mean? You want all these things, and then I'm like,
I know, but like you're stacking, like you're stacking your wheelbarrow, and what's going to happen is eventually you're going to dump it, and it's going to be a huge dump. Like, just dump it everywhere. You're going to, you know what I mean? You have to just like as far as school next year, it's May 10th. I don't know. It's just you don't want to like that. Let that be like a thing that you stack, and then the guy with the hat on doesn't talk to you, and then he, bites somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's getting high, Well,
I'm not trying to stack it. I'm just trying to do my research.
No, if he's doing really well, like even Lauren said the other day, like if you look back a year, which is hard to do, but she's really right. Functionally speaking, he's a different kid.
He is.
In a good way, positive way, developmentally positive way. So, I think you just got to look at that and kind of feed off of that. And don't worry about the guy who didn't say anything to you.
Well.
Because he probably was like, he may have a version in his mind of what autism is, and maybe was like, oh my gosh. Maybe he's like, this kid's going to bite me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't blame people because I didn't know
No,
either.
it's not their fault. I mean, we didn't. I don't know. If I'm sitting in the park and some kid comes up to me and calls me grandpa, and then the mom's like, oh, don't worry, he's autistic. I'd be like, well, I don't know. What does that mean? What's about to happen? And I'm talking about years ago. So,
but when he calls somebody grandpa and the guy's in his 40s and he has his baby with him, I mean, it's like he offended the guy.
Yes, I know.
And it's like, dude, he's 4 years old. Like, why are you letting a 4-year-old offend you?
Well, if that's what I don't know. But I was ignorant at one point to this whole thing, because if you don't really go through it, you are just ignorant. I don't mean to use the word ignorant like you're ignorant and like you're choosing to be an idiot. It's just that ignorant means you just don't know. You're not aware. Well, you may not have the awareness, just like us, like 2 years ago. We had no idea. Like, if you told me what autism, I've said this before, I'd be like, I don't know, go watch Rain Man, because that'd be the only thing I have any idea about autism, Well, they got a character now on Sesame Street, which I think is great. So I guess other kids, would whatever her name is on
I think Zoe maybe.
Yeah.
I could
So
be
that's
wrong.
another thing people could point to. But 2 years, I had no idea. Like, I mean, and honestly, I'm proud of it. I mean, I'm proud of it that I took the time to learn, to understand. I guess I really didn't have a choice. Well, I guess I did. There are parents that stay in denial, like, in perpetuity. They're just perpetually ignorant about it, and they just don't want to, they ignore maybe what's going on with their kid. But I don't blame these parents at all. We've even said before, like, sometimes when we go out, and we'll go out with people, and it's like, we go out with people, and they have no idea about autism, and they don't bring it up, and we are just as happy about that too. Because it's like, hey, we're looking for a break also,
Well, and you just said maybe there's parents that ignore it and stuff. I mean, there's plenty of parents with their kids diagnosed and they do nothing about it.
Well,
Like, they're not doing therapies and stuff.
I know.
Maybe their kid is in autistic class and that's the only therapy they're getting. Me, on the other hand, it's not that I want him to necessarily fit in. I just want him to be the best he can be. So I just keep pushing in every way I can to just keep... I'm not just accepting this. Like, I accept that he has autism, but I'm not accepting for him to stay at a certain level. I'm going to try to keep getting him to where I think he's capable of being,
Yeah, people are going to get mad at that.
This is for me.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying, isn't it crazy that people will get mad at that?
I know, but that's why I'm trying to figure out his best school and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if he's in a general ed class necessarily, but if I can try to get him there, I'm going to try.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get it.
I don't know.
I think, everything we go through, like, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but sometimes it's 1 step back, then 2 steps back. It's not always forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. I mean, in a perfect world, sure, but it's sometimes is back, back, back. Whoa, big forward. But then you start thinking to yourself, well, when are the backs coming? And sometimes it can get in your head a little bit because we all think about it. There's a kid I think about a lot in one of the kids' football leagues, and it's just clear and obvious. And what the dad is doing, and I think he's really coming at it with a good heart. But he's over coaching and over parenting this kid who you can't be told no every 5 seconds. Can't be told stop every 5 seconds.
Is he there?
Huh?
He's there?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. And you can't, at that point, that kid's existence is just going to be no, stop, no, stop, no, stop, over and over. And I'm talking about dozens of times a night. That's like 2 nights a week I see this kid.
Wow.
And so, that's, but he's trying to get out of this the way he sees best. And I respect it and I appreciate it. And I think about this kid and I hope there's a turnaround, but kind of like what you said, that I don't want to say denial or whatever, because I'm not going to judge this man. Maybe he accepts it and he's just trying to find another way out of it. But I don't believe this is going to be the way to do it. So, we and many other people have said, hey, we got to turn this over to other people, schools, therapists, and stuff. So you do a great job always thinking about the next creative. You just got to stay creative. I don't know how else to put it to people. Like, you got to stay creative. And sometimes that means totally changing the schedule. Other times it means what's working now is working, but we're going to make a small change. It doesn't always have to be these huge changes.
Right. And he's still making progress. And I don't mean... He is a great kid and he's doing great, but I always just want to keep seeing, can you do more? And can he do more? Yes, in some areas, but he still won't let me brush his teeth. He's still not potty trained. And yes, those days are going to come. I mean, he's not going to be in diapers forever.
Yeah, the patience is the worst. Somebody told me once it's the best word and the worst word, patience.
Yeah.
Because great things always happen when you have patience. But my God, the world is brutal when you're being patient. Like, it is just, you know what I mean? So I think, like, we go through that too. Like, when he walks in the door and you're like, hey, Cal, take off your shoes, he'll sit down, he'll take off his shoes one by one, and now he walks and puts his shoes on the shelf automatically.
Yeah.
Before, you had to coach him a couple times to take him off and then really coach him where to put him back. And he doesn't do that anymore. Yesterday he ran in, or day before, I don't know, a couple days ago, he ran into the room. His new therapist was here. And she's like, Cal, not in the bedroom. We're going into the other room. And he turned around and stopped and walked in there.
Yeah.
That is 6 months ago, Cal. good luck. He was going to be in the bed covering himself up and
Right.
pretending to snore because he actually believed that you would believe he was sleeping and you would leave him alone.
I know.
So, but now, it's just so many good positive things like that. Outside in the pool last summer, he'd go walking around in the shelling under the palm trees, da-da-da-da. Rarely, if ever, does that anymore. Kind of knows the focal points of the pool, in the pool, or just around the pool.
Yeah, but
So-
that's all been a lot of practice.
I know, but I'm
Practice
just
with therapists and
yeah, but I'm saying it's all gone in the right direction.
it is.
So, but I think you're always going to have these outbursts of, I'm going to go through this biting thing. Not to say that it's normal. I know it's not, but he's going through a lot of change with the therapist now.
Yeah.
He really loves Lolo. I think he probably misses her, or at least sees a replacement, and there's things in his mind. And he's either behind or ahead, right? Like, he'll have these conversations or answer questions that were sometimes hours or a day old,
Yeah.
or think about things hours or days old, but then sometimes he'll fast forward into this, I sort of call it the metaverse, the autism verse, where he's somewhere else doing other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, it's kind of a cool superpower, actually. I wish I could do it.
It really is.
I mean, it's really cool.
No.
I don't know how to do it.
I'm not saying anything's bad. This journey is just confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep. But, let's make it a wildness. Like, I guess it's a lie. I was going to say, so, he doesn't have active participating family outside of us.
Right.
Like, he just doesn't. And I guess, in a way, the bond with he calls brothers and sisters and mom and dad and dog, Barkley, the dog, it's such a strong bond. And so I feel really good for that. It's almost like there is, like, he understands it's just us.
Right.
I'm sad he doesn't have other people that, are more involved, but he also doesn't know, and you don't know what you don't know. But so I'm glad that the bond is so tight. There are kids and there's certain levels of the spectrum that really kind of have an unawareness about their siblings, that don't even really have an interest, or really, it's not an interest. It's just an awareness that they're the siblings. They're sort of maybe just other beings that are around.
Yeah. He's very social.
Understands brother, sister, and the love and the bond, and each one of them means something different to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is sad that he doesn't, because then he's always searching for it. So he goes up to random strangers and says grandma and grandpa.
yeah. And that's, part of it we can't change. I mean, we've sort of begged other family members that, not really begged. I think we've just been like very direct, like, he's young, he's autistic. If you want to have a relationship with him, you've got to, this isn't like a normal grandparent, or situation. I mean, you've really got to work at this one.
Oh, yeah.
This is like
Yeah.
boots on the ground, full involvement. And if you don't want to, that's fine. But pretending that this is just, that he knows who you are and this or that, I mean, you're just fooling yourself at this point.
Right.
So, but, yeah. I'd say it's been a very interesting couple of weeks with him, interesting stages. I also think, too, like, the end of the school year always gets weird for everybody. Like, we all have, I think part of it, too, is like Charlie's going to a middle school. And so we're going to have elementary, middle, high schooler, Cal, kind of a variety of different places. So we're kind of going into this space where it's like, oh boy, it's starting to widen out. We've got Tyler getting his freaking learner's permit in 3 weeks.
I know.
Right? So that's a lot. Like, there's just a lot going on.
Well, I think, too, I mean, kindergarten is like a parent's first step. It's like, oh my gosh, my kid's going to kindergarten.
I know.
Like, it's a parent, like, that's when you like start to get scared what's going to happen the first day of school and stuff. Cal has already experienced that going to like in the 3s and 4s class now at elementary school. But I think now with him turning 5, I'm like, I'm ready for him to be a big kid.
Yeah, but
and
he
he's still
may
kind
not
of
be ready to be a big kid. And that's just, that might just be the way it is.
I'm saying, I feel like we've had a baby for a long time.
Well, we
and
have.
Sometimes it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I get it. I don't think he's ready for all that other stuff because he's not supposed to be. That's why
I know.
Yeah, like when they say he's only 2.5, he's only 3. I mean, that's the deal. I mean, we can't, rush it. By the way, it's 12:10.
I gotta go get him.
That flew by. We said we're gonna do like 8 minutes.
I know.
All right. Tonight is going out night.
Tonight's going out night.
This is our only break from sports for the rest of the week, I think. Oh, Thursday. Oh, is Thursday my birthday?
It's your birthday.
Oh, I don't want it to be my birthday.
I told our neighbor it was your birthday and you're turning 45, and she's like, "Geez, Mark, slow down."
Really? Well, in that case, I hate you and I hate Jenna. God.
Oh my God.
Jenna, you could have at least said, man, he doesn't look like he's 33. Jeez, Mark, slow down. Good grief.
Love you.
All right. Thank you to Aspire Nutrition. You can see all the products we use, the probiotics, which are so important. The link between gut health and brain health, especially with autism. Go to dailyautism.com and click the Aspire Nutrition link. Feel free to send us a message about the nutrients and probiotics we use from Aspire Nutrition. Have a great, fantastic day.